Welcome to another episode of AEW Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling, with me, Aubrey Edwards, and you, Will Washington. I said you. It wasn't like
Will Washington.
You, Will Washington. It's one of those, like, I've been in Spanish class recently, so I say you, and I'm like, is that you plural or you singular? And I was like, no, it's you singular. Yes. It's fun. Either way, it is Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And for everyone here, please remember that there are probably some sales this weekend if you're doing some shopping. So I'm going to save you all the trouble and just make sure you go to Upper Deck and buy some trading cards. So remember, Upper Deck, you can collect your favorite wrestlers in the 2024 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Ooh. Unwrap, autograph, memorabilia, or premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. I'm so stoked. They're an official sponsor of this podcast, and they've sent us lots of good goodies. And I think in honor of all of the shopping we'll be doing this weekend, we should definitely open up some of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom. Yeah, look at that. We've got Danielson. We've got Sky. Look at it. All right, well.
Darby, Willow, MJF.
Let's go. All right. I'm looking at this. I got a whole lot of stuff in here. Okay, first card I pulled is this like really, really cool thing. It looks like a comic book. So like heroes and heroines, and it looks like an old DC comic book. And it's got Willow Nightingale, our favorite gal, on the front. She looks so sweet and sassy.
So funny, because I also pulled heroes and heroines. However, I got Konosuke Takeshita.
Dude.
And this is such a cool card. If you have a chance to watch, and you're watching the video edition, again, it has that comic book style art. And
it even has a UPC code. That's adorable.
Yeah. My notes.
What does yours say on the back?
Yeah, Konosuke Takeshita. The Don Callis family was victorious at Wrestle Dream thanks to Konosuke Takeshita, who landed a Takeshita line to Kenny Omega. Which, of course,
I forgot about that match.
Yeah, took place at Wrestle Dream in 2023. And it's so funny because Wrestle Dream 2024, 1 year later, Takeshita became the international champion. And so that is a very significant event to him. And
speaking of champion, really cool. The back of Willow's card says, in a hard-fought match, Willow Nightingale outlasted Ruby Soho to win the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament Finals at Collision on July 15th, 2023.
Honestly, that was such an exciting time, thinking about the Calgary, and that's honestly a night I think I'll never forget as far as Willow becoming the Owen Hart winner, and this bunch of shenanigans afterwards in Bret Hart's restaurant. It was very cool. It was a very cool time. And honestly, I think it's a very cool time right now in AEW, having just coming off a historic Full Gear, and heading into Thanksgiving. It's a time where I'm always thankful, and always I'm like you. It's my favorite holiday. It's genuinely
so good.
My favorite time. But it's a time that I always reflect and like to look back at the things I'm grateful for. And one of the things that I'm truly grateful for is our guest this week, because I think she's had an incredible story and an incredible journey in AEW. And I think that getting her here the second time, she's got so much more of a story to tell. Aubrey, who do we have here on AEW Unrestricted?
We are here today with one of my very good friends. I'm so excited. We have Thunder Rosa joining us on the podcast. Again, it's been a number of years since you've joined us in the makeshift AEW Unrestricted studio. A long time has passed, and we've all grown and changed since then.
Yes.
Oh my God. I think the last time we had you on, just for context for everyone, I think you were still NWA Women's Champ. You were not yet, right? You were not yet All Elite. And I think you had just had your match with Britt Baker, like the first one. Yeah, it was you and Britt in the unsanctioned Lights Out match, pandemic era. It was wild. I'm like, wait, that happened?
Yeah, because I remember I was doing the podcast and I was taping for NWA at the time.
Yes, it was wild time. Man, well, so happy that all of those things have happened. And now that you are here, you're All Elite. You've been All Elite for a long time. You've been women's champion. Like, so much stuff has happened. Like, this is incredible. How does it feel seeing your growth as a wrestler on the AEW roster?
I feel like a veteran now. It really is. It's so sad. It's sad, but but it's not that. I was doing a signing this weekend, actually 2 signings, and I'm in the car talking like some of the veterans used to talk to me like 8 years ago, and I'm just like, damn, I'm like that person. So it's just been like, I feel like it's been a lifetime, but it's only been like what, 4 years, but so much has happened, and I think there's so much more I think that is going to happen in the near future. So it's just interesting to see me back then and to see me now and how I've changed in my perspective that I have in professional wrestling. It's very, very different.
Well, let's talk about the fact that, a few years ago, it felt like you were a part of the AEW experience for fans for quite some time, but there was so much anticipation. Fans were patiently waiting to see when Thunder Rosa was finally going to be all elite, and everybody wanted to know, when was that going to happen? When is it going to happen? When is she officially going to be a part of the AEW roster? And then it did, and it felt like, yeah, this feels right. Like, I think for everybody, it was like, yeah, this should have happened a long time ago, and and ever since then, again, like you said, you're like a veteran all of a sudden. It's like over the last few years, you are a part of the AEW experience. Got to talk a little bit about how it all came together as far as being a part of the AEW TV experience, being a part of the show, but not necessarily being all elite up until that point, and then finally getting it.
I honestly never felt like I wasn't even part of AEW. I always felt like although some people didn't want me there, and they made it very clear, that's why they made me bleed. And, we went through tables and chairs and ladders.
We don't need to talk about
just
that.
Like, the real blood and guts in this thing. No, I always felt everywhere I went, I always felt like I belonged. Like, that was my goal. Like, because I had such a big chip on my shoulder this whole entire time since the moment that I started my career in professional wrestling. The fact that people didn't want me there, or they feel uncomfortable, they feel like I did not belong or I didn't earn it, made me want to, kind of rub it in their face even more. And at the time, Tony Khan had a lot of plans for me, which I was not aware, but, things happen for a reason. And a lot of, pieces and things happened and moved, and I was all elite all of a sudden. So for me, I remember the moment that I received that email. I was in my old apartment, and this old apartment, this was my first apartment that I didn't have with roommates. And like, I was hustling all the time during COVID. Like, well, everybody was like struggling. I was like wrestling everywhere I could wrestle, defending the NWA title, and and hustling, doing other stuff. And just like when AEW came in and just like was part of my life, I was just like, I feel so blessed, and I feel like finally I got like a financial chance to like take care of my family, not only my immediate family, but my family in Mexico. But going back to like getting that email, I remember I was like, finally I'm gonna be able to afford an apartment that doesn't have cockroaches.
Right?
Finally. It's like
just the little things.
It's just shit like that. And like, it's like people don't understand. Like, when you're like struggling like that, and where I remember when I came to Texas, my partner and I, we moved to somebody's room, and it was a tiny little room. I probably was the size of my office. And with the promise that I was going to make it. Right. And from there, thankfully, I started the NWA, became a champion. We moved to that apartment, but that's when I adopted my son. So it was like all of us. So like our life changed completely, because it was just like all of a sudden, boom, Thunder Rosa here, Thunder Rosa there, and it was like we had no fans and everything. So it's like doing all these things when the fans were in there was not only challenging, that's very special. I think that it was at the right time, at the right moment, and all the cards worked really, really well. And I'm blessed that I am one of the original Forbidden Doors, and I always say it with very, very prideful, because I came with a title. I wrestle in a pay-per-view with a title, title versus title, and it was like awesome. Like the experience, just like it was amazing. And then just the buzz, and then after that, like all the things that I was able to do and I was allowed to do in AEW as a women wrestler, and also what I was representing, because that's what I also started Mission Pro Wrestling. So I was like very radical, in your face, like women wrestlers need to get a spot. We deserve the opportunities, we deserve equality, not only, in time in the ring, but also monetarily. And I still firmly believe on that. And I continue to say that. I'm not as outspoken anymore as I used to be. Because, you got to move
pick your battles.
Yeah. But I still believe that the women's division, strong women's divisions in different companies, that's what makes the difference in that company, right? And I feel like we did that in 2020, 2021. It was so strong. It was so special. It was so different. The stuff that we were doing was so different. And they were like, it's like literally blood and guts. It's like heart and soul. And it's just like raw. Something that has never been seen before. That's the reason why we got match of the year on 2021. Not because it was like blood and like, no, it was because of what it meant for women's professional wrestling, in the history of women's professional wrestling, which I'm very, very proud. And I will, continue like bring that, even if it's the only, Pro Wrestling Illustrated award that I get in my life. I'm like, but I got it,
It's a pretty good one.
It means a lot. It means a lot. Not a lot of women have those things. No, they can't say that they had match of the year.
It's really great because, I like that you kind of brought up the starving artist aspect of it, because this is an art. And if people are truly trying to be successful at it, there is a lot of hustle that you don't see, and a lot of, seeing the women's division backstage grow over the last 5 years. There's definitely been a lot of hustle and a lot of hard work and a lot of the blood, sweat, and tears that has gone into it day after day after day, that fans maybe don't see that full big picture and see all of the things that kind of built it to what it is today, which is why I think it's so important that we have so many awesome people on this roster working together to kind of make it what it is. And it's awesome. And I actually did want to talk about kind of just special moments and stuff, because we actually talked about this on a Heels call recently. One of my favorite moments with you was when you won the title in San Antonio in front of your family in a cage match against Britt Baker. Yes. It was absolutely incredible. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, just the lead up to it was chaotic as always, It
always is.
24 hours before, I was trying to get the mariachi. I'm trying to get the rights for the song. I'm trying to get my gear done. I'm trying to figure it out, like how many people, because there were so many people coming from out of town, friends asking me for tickets. Hey, where can I get tickets? Are they going to open more tickets? And just envisioning the moment, because I think that was the most important part. And I remember before I came out, one member that is no longer in AEW, he pulled me aside, Adam Pearce, and he said, just remember this moment, because not a lot of people in the locker room have experienced what you're about to experience. In your town, being, the first Mexican-born female to win this championship in the history of wrestling, with your family, just enjoy the moment. I just never forget. He pulled me aside, because I was just like, running and, trying to memorize and going all crazy, because you know what it takes to like putting matches together and everything. Oh yeah. But it was just amazing. And the fact that, I ask you, Brie, because I truly believe that when I became the women's champion, that I really want to embody what women empowerment really looked like. Some people might not have understood and might have think that I was being, too full of myself, but it wasn't. I was full of myself. I just wanted to give an opportunity to everyone who has not been, put in the spotlight to do something cool with me. Right?
Yeah.
Because I know.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but I actually officiated all of Thunder's championship matches when she was champion.
When I was champion, because I
knew you had the cage match for sure, but I didn't realize until just this moment.
We did that intentionally.
As I'm replaying them all in my head, that that's really cool.
I had
women's
to have
representation,
because she herself made history. She's one of the. Are you the first one to be signed in a major company and do like?
No, I was not the first, but there's a number of us that are punching holes in that ceiling. So, but we are only able to do it because other people give us opportunities. Yeah,
but you were one of the most prominent female referees. So for me, that was important. And at the time, Mission Pro Wrestling was booming. And I was able to bring people. I was bringing a lot of people to AEW Dark, which I felt it was my duty as someone who was not. I'm not gonna say I was self-made. There was a lot of people that helped me, not necessarily women, but I said all those women that helped me. I made a promise to myself that I was gonna help somebody else, and that somebody else. And I always tell them, if I'm helping you, it's your duty to help somebody else, and then not trying to get something back. Just help them because we want to, move forward. So it was crazy, crazy, crazy. And I remember coming out and the music played and everybody went crazy when the mariachi played. And then my music came out. I came out like mariachi with the Mexican flag and the Texas flag. And I just wanted to cry. Because I feel like that was like one of the first times that I feel like a superstar. I knew my life was going to change, either for the better or for the worse. It was going to change. And it did change. And I, keep that memory very, very high and very, very, in a very, very special place in my heart. My family does too. And I will continue to brag about it, and I will continue to talk about it everywhere I go, because when I go and talk to an ambassador about what happened to me, how successful I became in the United States, they can't believe it. And they're just awed about like what an immigrant who has a lot of dreams, who believes in the American dream, is able to accomplish in a country if she works very, very hard. So it was amazing.
Hell yeah.
God, that is so cool. And we've got so much more to talk about as far as everything that followed that championship run and your run on Collision thus far.
Yes.
And that'll all happen right here when AEW Unrestricted continues. AEW Unrestricted. It's Aubrey and Will, and we're joined by, Aubrey said at the beginning of this, her good friend, but you know what?
Yes.
My good friend as well.
Hell yeah.
It's the one and only Thunder Rosa.
Well, thank you, Will.
Yes.
He was just jealous.
I did want to talk about the fact that we, it's been about a year and a half. It's hard to believe because it's been such a part, it's such an institution in what we do. But a year and a half ago, Collision launched. And, I know, right? Looking at the look on Aubrey's face, like it feels like it's been forever, but it was only June of 2023. And, I remember being a part of those original Collision conversations as far as like what the show was going to look like and who were going to be some of the tentpole names that are a part of the show. And of course, one of the names that was brought up from the very beginning was Thunder Rosa. It was going to be that this is going to be a show that really showcases who Thunder Rosa is and gives her kind of the platform to be Thunder Rosa again. And I feel like, when I look at some of the best Collision memories already, I think about the fact that a year ago you got to enter into one of the most famous lowriders in history. And
let's say I have some of the most coolest entrances in the history of AEW. As if I'm gonna make it. Listen, if people haven't seen me in a minute on TV, they're gonna remember me. They're gonna remember the match. At least they're gonna remember the entrance.
Yes.
So, yes, continue.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you've gotten to have a number of, again, some of the, if you think about some of the women's rivalries of Collision, you can't really think about them without thinking about you and the fact that you got to have a great rivalry with Deonna Purrazzo that went all the way through our residency in Arlington and got to cap off very well. And again, we just talked about the lowrider entrance. You just recently got to have an incredible Day of the Dead match with Harley Cameron. I want to talk a little bit about what this run on Collision has been like for you.
Well, I just want to thank Tony Khan for creating my own show called Collision for me to showcase my abilities as one of the main faces of the women's division. I know Mariah May says that she is the women's division, that she is going to kill the women's division. But, there's been so many like you, Mariah, that has said that. But you know what? Maybe you're not too busy because you're going to be wrestling this Saturday. But once you're not busy, Thunder Rosa owns Collision. It's like there. This is Thunder Rosa. It says Collision in the bottom.
Yes.
So we're more than welcome to come anytime, any Saturday. Or I can go on Wednesday. Anyway, yes. So I think that the talks where you were saying I was heavily publicized when Collision first started. Unfortunately, I was still not cleared during the time. So I think that really, I felt like it really took us some of the momentum that I could have had when that first happened. But once I, start running, I hit it hard. Like I started with that in San Antonio, Texas. I think it was November or December. I don't remember. It's going to be a year. But I was like, okay, what am I going to do that is going to be special, that is going to be different? And it's always, for me, representation is so important for Thunder Rosa and for my brand. And the fact that one of my friends here in San Antonio knows somebody that owns that car. He was like, hey, by the way, the car is available. He just fixed it. Do you want to use it? And I was like,
that's a rhetorical question.
And for those who aren't aware, the car specifically, because we keep saying famous lowrider, but we didn't really give exactly what it was.
It's a Selena. Have you ever seen the Selena movie where Jennifer Lopez plays Selena? Yeah, that's the car.
Car.
They pull the, what is it? They pull the back of the car. I don't remember. It's just like they're trying to like hold something, and he's like, "Oh, that's the Selena. Anything for Selena." So yeah, that's the car. So it was really cool. I wanted to drive it, but I couldn't drive it. So again, it takes a team to make these things happen, because it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put the car. The car has art, so the art needs to be approved, and it's just like the whole ordeal. So it was that, the new gear, new music, new entrance on, the graphics, the Tron, everything. It's very specific, and I feel like people were expecting me to come back the same, but I couldn't come back being the same person after the injury and after everything that happened during that time. Unfortunately, like I had to withdraw from being a champion. I have to like relinquish the championship. I would have liked to relinquish the championship as soon as I knew that I was going to be injured and I was going to be out for so long. So people understood that this was a serious injury. But with everything that happened, there's very positive things that happened, because now people understand that I wasn't playing around, that it was not just a storyline. I was really injured and it took me a while. There's a lot of things that change, and also my personality and my mentality on professional wrestling changed. So I came with like full face paint, it representing In Your Face with a lowrider, new music. People still pissed about the new music, but it's like you gotta change it.
I was literally just thinking in this moment about how the new music grew on me. Like it was it was different.
It's so good.
It was very different because obviously you had
it's a metal song.
You had a metal song, and all of a sudden now it's like we still have Mikey's vocals in the
Rosa.
Exactly.
But
it's very different.
When I get another big match, I did it in London for for Riot Cabaret, where I won the championship. I had a little like a 3-man mariachi kind of thing. It was an accordion and a guitar and what was it? Something else. And it sounded so good that we're playing this new song. It was so dope. I was like, yo, I want this for TV. It's going to look so good. But it's just like, it just gives you another layer of, who you become. And I really like the fact that I got an opportunity to wrestle Toni Storm. And like, I was able to come back and they're like, oh, Thunder Rosa can actually talk in the microphone. And I'm like, yeah, I've been practicing for 2 years. When I was injured, guys, I've been telling you. So it's been like a lot of things that I feel like I was weak at. I really like took on and say, you know what? If people always grill me for not being good on promos, guess what? I'm not going to do that. Especially if it's a live promo. Like people are going to see who I can really be. And like, they can't deny what is undeniable. So that's what I took. I took a chance on myself and I did a lot of stuff during that time that helped me to be where I am now. I mean, I took acting classes, singing classes. I really memorization stuff because I still have a really hard time memorizing speeches or stuff like that. It's so hard for me. But and I also took it very serious with everybody when they're directing me that if I'm saying something wrong because I'm bilingual, to please stop me and make me do it again. Yes. I don't mind doing that. It's TV. It's very expensive to be on TV. So every time I'm there, I want to make sure that I excel and I do things right. not only for me, but also for my partner or whoever I'm like feuding with, because it is important that I don't make them looking like idiots, or like I don't make them feel bad about certain stuff. I'm a baby face, so I can't be acting like a heel. I mean, you're gonna, you know, I'm saucy, you know, I'm spicy. So if you say something stupid to me, you're gonna get something back, like for sure.
So I've been fortunate enough that I haven't had like a serious injury, but the thing I've heard time and time again from people who have had serious injuries that have put them on the sidelines for multiple months, and I think you were out for 16 months total?
From the ring, yes, but I came back 7 months in from the injury to do commentary.
Right. So it's one of those things where it's like it changes you as a person, because it's more, there's a lot of mental anguish that goes along with an injury, in addition to all the physical healing and rehab and all of that stuff you have to go through. So I know that you had kind of kept the title for a bit, not really realizing how bad the injury was, relinquished when we realized you were going to be out for a while. What was the moment like when you first realized how bad things actually were?
From the beginning, when they told me that what I had, like I said, I'm not going to be able to wrestle. So sometimes there's certain things that are not your decision to make, and you just have to go with the flow, right?
Which is hard.
I mean, it is very hard because I'm not there, and then people are cutting promos on me like, oh, she's not coming and defending her championship. Who do you think she is? Woo, 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 woo. And I'm just like here like, bitch, I can't, like, what do you want me to do?
Kind of can't walk, guys. Sorry.
Call me if you have a problem with me. It's like, sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like, this is what, life gave me. So I was a champion for longer that you probably wanted, but it's okay. Like, we moved on. But yeah, that was probably the worst year of my life, period. And especially physically and mentally. Just imagine, like, you can run, you can jump, and they just cut your legs. You can't do that. You can just like had to learn how to walk, how to learn how to run again, how to learn how to do a bunch of stuff again. I mean, I'm going to the extreme, but this is like how it feels. It's like when they take something that you identify yourself with for so long, and they just take it away, and they're like, "Yo, now you can't have it. You gotta earn it again." So it was very rough, and it was very mentally rough. And I spoke about this very openly. I had suicidal thoughts for a long time because, again, with all the layers that it had, not only like it was the injury, it was like, I don't feel like certain people didn't give me the chance. And like some of the fans just turned on me, and they were just being like, the comments that they were making, they were awful. Like, go and kill yourself. You don't want to put the people over. I was just like, what? Like, it hurt so bad that at times I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't. It was, I wanted to defend this title. I wanted to give my best, but I physically couldn't do it. Right. And it just ate me. But again, I utilized the resources. I got physically stronger. I stopped having pain, which allowed me to exercise, to allow me to get back in the ring. So little by little, I started gaining my confidence back. And I think that was the one thing that I allowed people to take my confidence away from me. And you saw me, Aubrey, when I came to that room. I was one of the most confident women in that room. And like that,
dude,
it scares people to death when you're like not afraid of anything.
Right. There's very few things as scary as a woman with confidence.
So this injury really broke my spirit and everything that came with the injury, but I fought through it. I have a very strong team that was with me, my publicist, my manager, my son, even my former partner too. Like they were there for me, and like a lot of my very, very close friends, they helped me tremendously. And at the time I had a really good therapist who helped me with a lot of the issues that I was dealing with, because it wasn't only like, well, when I get back, it was just like all this like ideas and things that, like I was telling you, they broke how Thunder Rosa was, because I had control of everything, and everything just fell apart. I don't have control of nothing, so I just had to let it roll and let it happen. But Alvaro and Alex Abrahantes, they were like my brothers, they like really held my hand in the hardest moments of my career. It makes me want to cry when I was commentary. There was times when I was doing commentary and I was like having panic attacks because it was just so hard that I couldn't be in the ring, that, it was hard, but I endured, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm going to come stronger and nothing is going to faze me anymore. And they helped me. Commentary helped me so much to really see professional wrestling in a different way. And also broadcasting. I've been broadcasting for 3 years with Busted Open Radio. And that really felt, and it gave me the strength and give me a voice. And so ever since then, it's just been like, I enjoy and I am blessed every time I step in the ring, because I never know when this is going to be taken away. So it's like, it's a blessing.
First off, I love you very much.
I love you too.
2, thank you for sharing. And 3, I want to talk so much more, but we have to take a quick short break. So stay tuned here on AEW Unrestricted. AEW Unrestricted, Aubrey Edwards, Will Washington, Thunder Rosa. We're all having an amazing conversation just about like growth and finding yourself and perseverance and overcoming trials and tribulations and the American dream. And this has just been such a great podcast so far. One of the things you kind of casually mentioned a little bit is that you were running Mission Pro Wrestling. And I know you've sort of taken a break for right now, but Mission Pro is doing phenomenal things on the indies for giving women opportunities, both in the ring, out of the ring, wrestlers, referees, all kinds of stuff. There was just sort of this commitment to showcasing women's talent that was really great. What are some of the biggest challenges when building a women's focused promotion?
That people have the same vision that you do, that people want to invest in it, because a lot of the times what I hear is like, women don't draw.
False.
I can say that in my personal experience, when I was out there, we had some of the highest numbers in AEW history when, Britt and I were on the in the ring, or when I was in the ring a couple years ago, when when people were seeing what I see, and just, this is like the one, when women understand that they have to support each other in order to grow, not as an individual, but as a group, because we still, underwhelmingly, I can't even say that word.
Underwhelmingly. We're underwhelmingly represented.
Yes, there you go. Thank you, Aubrey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm still working on it. Yes, and I think that's the major issue. I think that was the major issue, and also understanding we're a small company and that we have limited resources. So I wanted to fly in a lot of people, but unfortunately I couldn't. So I couldn't bring people that I see the talent. So we will have to find sponsors, like local sponsors, and the fans that we created and the community that we created was amazing. I think our last champion, Izzy Moreno, she's been amazing, like amazing with the kids, and we have a huge children following ever since she started, working with us, and it's just been amazing to see like the different faces of Mission Pro when we first started, who's like on the big leagues now, who's not wrestling, who became mothers, wives, now who are doing other stuff. And now like the new generation, like Izzy Moreno. And I'm just like, I'm super proud of what we've done. I'm proud of that. I have a couple pictures of a couple of the girls that I brought to AEW back in the day. And I'm really proud of them, of where they at right now. And I was proud that I was part of their journey. And that the whole entire team, like how we were able to help them and how we were able to help them believe in themselves, which is the number one thing that we were trying to do.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who was a part of Mission Pro. And before I got to be a part of AEW, my best friend Denise was doing commentary for you, and we always had to plan everything we did around her availability and whether or not, because she had weekends where she had to fly down, and so it was all really cool. And so and now watching where kind of everybody is today, I think you did something really special with that promotion.
I think we're gonna, in the future, in the near future, we're probably gonna start working on something too. But right now we've been focusing on working with the NFL doing shows before the shows, doing cultural stuff for the embassies in London and France and stuff like that. And we're probably going to do something with San Diego Consulate. I always utilize in Lucha Libre and what Lucha Libre represents for me and for women, because I feel that still to this point, women wrestlers, especially luchadoras, are not represented well. And we need to talk more about it. And we need to talk more about their history and what it really means to be a luchadora. Not just the name and putting the mask, but what it really, really means to be a luchadora.
Well, bringing it back around to AEW, one of the things, that we talked about you being out for 16 months. 16 months is a long time. It's a long time, especially in professional wrestling. 3 months is a long time in professional wrestling.
3 weeks is a long time.
Yeah.
We could be real.
Really, when I just think about the fact that, hey, Bryan Danielson was here just a few weeks ago, and all of a sudden,
literally a month ago.
Yeah. So, but it feels like he's been gone forever. But I said all that to say that, in those 16 months, the women's roster really expanded over time. It's like almost doubled in numbers when you think about how many women were signed to AEW in that time period. And what's kind of cool is in that, since you've been back and you kind of got to step in the ring last December, and it was December, by the way, because I know you had asked about that earlier.
Yes.
But since you stepped in the ring last December, again, you got to really dive right in and get to jump in there with a lot of kind of the newer roster members. You talked about Mariah May earlier. I know you had stepped in the ring with Julia Hart before, but you hadn't stepped in with Sky Blue beforehand, right? I don't think you had.
No, I thought we were going to do a singles match for my comeback, but they turned out to be a tag.
The tag.
With Abaddon in them. I have a picture of that. I'm just going to post it later on. You remind me that I'm going to do
really
that.
Fun one.
But she was one of the newer ones you got to step in the ring with. And there's a lot of names that kind of got added to the roster. Queen Aminata, names that you were kind of getting to get exposure with on TV. And so I wanted to ask about your feelings on the current landscape of the AEW women's roster.
But everybody has, their thing, their flavor, their character. I think for Julia Hart, this switch from being baby Julia, who I wrestle, she was my first match when he was announced that I was signed, to now is, abysmal. You don't even recognize
She's
that
so
child.
Spooky.
I know. And that's really cool. I really shout out to whoever wrote her comeback promo. That thing was fire.
It was her, actually.
She wrote it. Wow.
That was all her.
Yeah. She gets all that. Yeah.
She gets all the credit.
It was fire. It was so good. That's how you do a comeback. If we're talking about how you do promos and comeback promos, that's how you do it.
She's so good.
Well, let me tell you, I'm a wrestling analyst, so I'm gonna say what I see.
No, absolutely.
I mean, everybody's different in the division, and I feel that. I still feel very strongly that we need to have really strong baby faces to go against these really strong personalities that we have as heels. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why Willow Nightingale is so popular is not only because she's good, it's because she's a real baby face.
There's that sympathy there.
And she's able to take it, exactly. She's been able to take to the next level. One of the reasons why, for me, it was so entertaining and so fun to work not only with Toni Storm, because Toni was becoming a baby face, but she worked with me, she became the heel. It's because I was okay, I have to be a really baby face, a real baby face. And it was a challenge for me because you know how I am. But it's not about who I am as Melissa. It's who Thunder Rosa needs to be in the ring for the story. And then when I faced Deonna really put me on El Comal. I was burned. I was shit. She put me to work. She really challenged me. She really challenged me to become a real baby face. And I loved it. I loved every time we were in the ring, and every time she cut a promo, and every time it was a challenge. And I feel that that's what we need with the women that we have. They're very strong in the ring, but in personality wise, or baby face and heel in professional wrestling, we need to get that basic essence of what professional wrestling is. If you're really heel, be the freaking heel. If you're baby face, you don't need to get your shit in. Just take take the people on the ride and let them suffer with you. I love doing that now. Yes. I don't care about the movies. I care about beat my ass for 10 minutes. Give me like a hope spot and just let me do the comeback and just gonna like fire up and everybody gets fired up with me. Let me jump on the table and drop kick you in the face, you know? Like,
oh, dude, by the way, that was my favorite part of the match.
I do have to say, going back to the beginning of this podcast, you truly have become a veteran. Because these are not the things that anybody new to this would be saying.
The amount of times I've sat in a seminar with some old fart in wrestling who has said, like, your baby face, it got to be the baby faces. And I'm like, oh my God, have we become
but is it true? Like, why do you think this story between Britt and I worked so hard? Because I'm the underdog. I'm the nobody. I'm the girl that is trying to like make a name for herself. And I'm fighting underneath. I've been fighting my whole life underneath, and I continue to fight like the underdog all this time, regardless of who I became in AEW, right? I am a baby face, and I embrace the fact that I am a baby face, that I have to face all these obstacles and struggles, because when I'm getting like momentum, it's taken away from you. Okay, let's fight harder now. More challenges to come. But guess what? I don't go out and complain and be like, woo. Like, no. Mariah May said that she's a women's division. She's not. I'm sorry, she's not. You want to think that? Fine. But there's people like me that you have to pass through to really think that you are going to become the women's division. Last time I saw her in the ring, I beat her, right? Mm-hmm. The CEO has not faced Thunder Rosa, la mera mera. She can call herself the CEO. I'm the boss bitch. That's what la mera mera means, right? So I got to put some respect on my name, those women. They might not remember my name. They don't want to mention it. Maybe if they say it 3 times, I will appear like fucking Beetlejuice. You know? I don't know. But that's the thing. Like, Thunder Rosa's here, and Thunder Rosa's not going to leave. People know my name. People know who I am. And even when they don't know, when they see me out there, they're like, who the fuck is that girl? I like her. I dig her. Because I bring something completely different than what we have in the women's division. Yeah, they did this. They actually asked me this question so many times when I was injured. And I always say, yeah, they're all wonderful. They all have their characters. They have the moveset, but they're not me. They're not Thunder Rosa. And that's
damn right.
It. No matter how long or how much long I stay away from the ring, when I come back, when my music comes out, they know that she's about to hit the fan. So that's all I know.
Damn.
Yeah, that is such a mic drop.
Such a great little like, punto. Just
exclamación, por favor, exclamación. Exclamación, right? Exclamación.
This was so good because it's like people who get to know you realize that you have one of those stories. It's like you literally came from nothing. You immigrated to this country, became a citizen. You have fought through adversity. You've fought through injury, and you have lived the American dream. And people see you wrestle and they see themselves in you. Maybe it's not the same story, but it's whatever they have overcome in their own personal lives. And it's really, truly inspiring. And I'm so happy that it took longer than it needed to, but I'm so happy when you officially became a member of our roster, because it's like, yes, this is great. I love Thunder. We need her. She's amazing.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Aubrey. I want to say thank you because that's a great compliment. But
You're
I think
welcome.
Sometimes, I got the title right here, seal right there. So that's a reminder, that I can achieve anything I want if I put my mind into it. And sometimes I feel like now I have to make people believe that I deserve that opportunity again. Because I do. I work so hard on everything I do to represent AEW, to represent the women's division, to prove myself wrong. Not what people have said about me, not what people think about me or who I am. It's the shortcomings that I think I have and I know I don't have, because I lost that confidence that I have, and I have been building it, brick by brick in this last year. I know I'm one of the best wrestlers. Just because Pro Wrestling Illustrated proved me in 68 doesn't mean I'm 68. I'm one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I don't need that recognition, because I know in my heart, and I know it here and I know it here. And the people that are close to me, they believe in me too. But I have to make you believe that I deserve that opportunity, and I deserve to have gold on my waist again.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this was so great. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. It was so great to have you again. This was wonderful. You can follow Thunder Rosa on Instagram and Twitter, Thunder Rosa 22, AEW Unrestricted, sponsored in part by Upper Deck. Collect your favorite wrestlers in 2024 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap, autograph, memorabilia, premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. You can listen to and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those fun places you can get your podcasts. You can hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We have new video episodes coming out every Monday. Just search AEW Unrestricted. Don't forget, Dynamite, TBS, Wednesdays, Rampage, TNT, Fridays, Collision, The Thunder Rosa Show, Saturdays on TNT. ROH streams every Thursday on Honor Club. Aubrey Edwards and Will Washington here. Thank you so much for listening to AEW Unrestricted. Peace.